Hello and welcome to Towards a Better India. In this video, I want to talk about musicians at an international level, which I feel are relatively less in terms of the ones which come out of India, and that is largely because okay, there's enormous musical talent in India per se, but then when it comes to, and I'm specifically talking about singing, I'm not talking about, say, a composer like A.R. Rahman, who's obviously globally recognized, he's an Oscar winner, but I'm talking about singers, and I'm specifically talking about women because I really feel that we have such gorgeous women who are not only amazingly attractive physically, but also they're so talented and they have beautiful voices. But at the same time, what I find is that there are very few who actually sing in English, wherein say competing at an international level. And the best probably example or instance would be Shakira. I mean, look at Shakira, look at the kind of global recognition that she has today, and she comes from a country like Colombia. Colombia at a time was known more for drug trafficking, and there was this guy called this drug warlord called Pablo Escobar from Medellin. These are the kind of things for which Colombia was more known for. But then all of a sudden there was this girl from Barranquilla, and today the world recognizes her, and today we associate a country like Colombia more with a star like Shakira. And I truly feel that Indian women have everything which can make them stars at par with somebody like Shakira. And look at her, I mean, look at the global adulation, recognition which she receives. And she comes from a Spanish speaking country, and at the same time she's a person who can sing in both Spanish and English. And look at the comfort with the English language with people here. We Indians, English comes naturally to us. And imagine a star from India who's actually able to perform across the world, who's internationally recognized. Today, I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in terms of which country you originate from. As long as you have that star power, that talent, that recognition, and of course a lot of luck, nothing can really stop you. One Indian origin star who comes to mind, for me is Freddie Mercury from Queen. He was, in fact, Indian origin, but at the same time, he settled in Britain for quite some time, and a lot of people, in fact, recognize him, know him more as a Britisher. But fact of the matter is that he was very much in India, in Mumbai. He did his schooling, and so therefore later on, between Zanzibar and India, his family was there. He comes from a Parsi background, very much Indian origin. And look at the global success which he managed to achieve, to an extent that even today, he died way back, but still he's recognized so commonly, so easily across the world. The Olympics concluded yesterday, and we had the performances of Queen. Without him, of course, since he's no more with us, but nonetheless, Queen songs were played there. The other members of the Queen band were there. So what I'm talking about is, when you sing in English and you sing at a on a scale and at a certain level which is global, the recognition, the adulation, and of course the monetary compensation which you receive is phenomenal. It's mind blowing, literally mind blowing. So I would encourage people out here that often we of course the Indian pop scene also has kind of come down dramatically over the years. There was a time when we used to get these pop albums coming out in the market frequently, but nowadays Hindi music or Indian music largely implies Bollywood music, Hindi film music. I hope that that changes, wherein we have Indian stars who perform Hindi songs, say pop music, and these concerts have always been there. And say a singer like Sonu Nigam and Alka Yagnik, they've all come out with their own albums, but it has been in Hindi, and again, obviously, the global patronization is not there. That's where I feel singing in English in a manner which appeals to an international audience. And I think in terms of accent per se, I think we can kind of still get it right. Our accent is pretty much understandable for anybody out there. And look at Shakira. I mean, she pretty much manages, coming from a Spanish speaking country. She sings in English pretty well. And there are many other examples. The Scorpions is from Germany. If you remember Aqua, they were from Denmark. Barbie Girl, that group, they were from Denmark. Michael Learns to Rock, they are from Denmark. So there are these groups which have come out from countries which are essentially non-English speaking. Believe it or not, much of continental Europe doesn't really speak much of English. And between them, I would say that often it is actually difficult, because there are situations where you might find yourself in a particular place, or somehow, where nobody around you speaks English. So that being the case, in spite of that, if these groups have managed to come out of that and perform at a global scale, on a global kind of platform, I think that is absolutely phenomenal. And that's where I feel there's so much scope. So somebody out there, people out there, women especially, it will be so amazing. Imagine an Indian singer of the level of Shakira. That'll be so phenomenal. And I don't know, we don't even probably need to emulate her. You can be completely original, you can have your own style, and yet you can have this charisma, this whole enigma, and this whole Indianness has its own charm. That you can have this Kama Sutra as kind of an appeal, and yet be so talented in terms of your musical prowess. All of that put together can really make you a global icon. So I think, think about this. And there are so many talented women out there who can sing so well here. They have the looks, the singing talent, the voice, everything. Everything complements. And that's what you, at the end of the day, that's what you kind of need. So that being the case, I hope that in the times to come, I get to see an Indian star who's performing at a global level, and pretty much everyone around the world recognizes him or her, especially her. That would be great. Cheers.